Welcome back to Window on Wall Street, a program that shares information about delayed food sensitivities. Sensitivities that may cause symptoms like migraine headaches, chronic fatigue, stress, digestive issues such as IBS, and even ADD, ADHD, just to mention a few. I'm Lauren Koenig, your host, and in today's program, we'll be taking questions from patients who've invested in immunobloodprint, a simple blood test that identifies foods which could be the cause of many symptoms. My guest today is Jeffrey Zavik, author of the very popular book Toxic Food Syndrome and the founder of Immunolaboratories, the world's most respected source for accurate delayed food allergy test results. Now tell me a little bit more about Immunolabs. What's its story? How did it become, and how did you develop such a big passion for what you do?
Well, in my own case, I was managing a very innovative rejuvenation center, a anti-aging center in the Bahamas a very long time ago. And I was introduced to the concept of a link between what people eat and how they feel with a microscope. And I was fascinated to see blood cells actually damaged or destroyed by particular foods that people were eating. I was fascinated. I thought, wow, this is really, really interesting, in particular because I myself am very delicate with respect to digesting and assimilating food. So that's where it all started. I realized, wow, this is really interesting. And as I found out, most people are suffering with some kind of nagging condition that is being caused or aggravated by something they're eating. So this became very exciting to me personally, which then led me to develop it into a full-blown business.
And how long ago was that?
Well, it was over 30 years ago at this point.
Congratulations.
Yes, thanks.
Now let's take a call.
Hi, this is Bob from Marin County. I've got a real tough digestive problem. It's uncomfortable to talk about. I have irritable bowel syndrome. It is embarrassing and very painful. I took the immunobloodprint and I'm working through the plan now. Can you give me any suggestions?
That's very personal to me because I had this going on since I was born. I mean, just as a child and ever since. So it's been fundamental to my even being in this particular field of interest. And I noticed that certain foods certainly cause inflammation. That's the underlying factor is inflammation, internal inflammation. However, that said, the blood print will help pinpoint which foods are causing the inflammation, but then it's still, well, what do? I have all this habit here of things that have happened in my delicate digestion and so forth. Number one, must food journal. Why do we want to say journal the foods you're eating each day, each meal? Because the food journal will reveal to the expert eyes of a nutritionist or a doctor, and sometimes even to yourself, when you look back and go, oh, I ate that. I didn't realize that spice or that tomato was in that sauce or whatever. So you find things that you didn't realize. You think you're adhering carefully to the blood print information, but you may be missing something. The second thing is to simplify what you're eating. Oftentimes, again, we don't realize that something might be in something else. It can be a very confusing world to think that in soy sauce there would be wheat, but in soy sauce there's wheat. And so it's those kinds of things that the simpler we keep things by baking and broiling and boiling and just doing things simply, we have less factors affecting how it is that we're feeling. Third thing that we talked about in other times has been this food combining. Some people are really, really sensitive about what they combine, and we can particularly help people to get a proper, there are charts available of proper food combining. The main thing is keeping the carbohydrates, the real sweet things, away from the real high protein.
Very interesting. Now, when you look at the back of a food label, you can be completely overwhelmed. And it seems like today there's, at least 20 ingredients in one thing. How can you help someone who is just finding out about their allergies? Is there somewhere that they can go to start, helping research? Like, I was allergic to pineapple, and in some barbecue sauces there's pineapple.
Right.
How do you really find all this out?
Well, there's several ways. One is, as you say, read labels. The second thing, though, is to stay close to nature. In other words, all these labels and things are on the things that are in the grocery stores in all the aisles. Shop the perimeter. The perimeter is where you will always find the simplest of things, the whole foods, the whole fish, the whole meat, the whole chicken, the fresh vegetables, the fresh fruits. Look at those labels. There's nothing on the labels because all they have is what's naturally in them, and you never have to worry about that. So the closer you stay to nature, the better off that you will be and not getting something in your system that you're unaware of.
That's a great rule to live by.
Yeah, it's interesting the way these stores are designed, but you're drawn through all these shelves that have all these ingredients in them, all these packaged processed foods, but the perimeters where all the natural whole foods tend to be.
Thank you, Jeffrey. We've got Dr. Mikkel Parsons standing by with some alternative food ideas. Dr. Parsons, any thought for our caller?
Jeffrey, you just shared some amazing information. I want to add a little bit to that. When we transition and we are not eating those things that have been bothering us food-wise, that doesn't mean that we're necessarily out of the woods. Sometimes those foods have created a situation where it's hard to digest, and we may actually see undigested food in our stool. So you need to take a peek every once in a while and just look. But I want to share with you something that happened with me. Here I am, a nutritionist. I'm trying to lead by example and have a healthy lifestyle. And previously I have had sensitivities to lettuce and spinach. But I'd been off of those things for many years, and I thought, you know, it's January, I'm going to get that back into my diet, and I'm sure I'm going to be better. And for about 3 months, I slowly transitioned those foods back into my diet, and I started to develop irritable bowel. I was seeing undigested food in my stool. So I had to then eliminate them. I'm the only nutritionist that I know that can't do raw vegetables. So when we are looking at our foods, we also need to look at what's happening inside our body. So some of those foods that we would deem to be very healthy may not be for how your body is processing them. One of the other common stumbling blocks that happens with digestion is, if I can't have butter, what do I need? I need healthy oils and fats. Well, there are substitutes for that. There's different olive oils. Some of my favorites that I carry here are olive oil along with avocado oil. Avocado oil is wonderful, and we have it also with a little bit of lemon. So there are a variety of different oils out there. Macadamia nut oil is another one. Walnut seed oil is fantastic. But let's say you're in the process, you're transitioning, and you're still having some problems. And for women, we don't like it when we're bloated and gassy. It's not very feminine. So one of my secret weapons is something called AC carbamide. This is something that will actually help negate the gas that's produced. It doesn't fix the reason why, because there's clearly some work that you need to do, but this is something that's going to make you feel a little more comfortable as you transition through this. Remember, just because a food's healthy doesn't mean that it can't cause digestive problems. So that's why you want to make sure you follow your handout and follow the foods that are safe for you to eat so your digestion can heal along with everything else.
Thanks, Dr. Mikkel Parsons, and to you, Jeffrey Zavik. We'll continue with Window on Well Street after the break, but may I encourage those of you watching who may have a family member, friend, or coworker experiencing similar health issues to forward this video to them. And if you haven't had your immunoblood print, please learn more and get yourself tested. Remember, there's a hidden link between what you eat and how you feel. I'm Lauren Koenig, and we'll be right back.